Welcome, everyone. We are live on this beautiful Tuesday. It is pitch black outside. Yes, it is. I would have to say you'll notice the days are shorter. Well, not that the days are shorter, but the light is shorter. We get less light. Mm. So, the reason why I say that is because we're talking about buzzwords. They say the days are longer, the days are shorter. No, the days are as they are. There are 24 hours in the day. The day doesn't lose any hours. It is the light that is less. So if you say things the way they truly are, you help yourself to eliminate confusion. So what do I mean by buzzwords? You know, catchy marketing phrases. We all know what they are. We know some of them. Raise your vibration. Uh, get into alignment. What else is there? There's so many of them, and we come across them. If you're here, pop some in the chat on Fanbase or on YouTube, and we'll talk about them, because the reason, it's not just that it's a personal preference. I've noticed something. When you stick with what the principles are, like when you notice and you say, you know what, I'm aware of something that's going on in my world. This came to my attention. You're aware. Mentalism, you're using it. I am. And you're saying to yourself, what is this that I am is doing? Do I want to keep doing it? And then you'll begin to notice, well, my actions are corresponding to my thoughts. Why? Because everything moves. I'm always moving. I can't be still. I am always moving. And I move myself between where I am and where I'm going. So it is polarity. And I have a rhythm. I have a pattern, a way of doing things, which causes an effect. So that when you're experiencing something in your life, you say, oh, there's an effect. Is that the effect I wanted? And you'll know the moment you say, is that the effect I wanted? But when you answer and you say yes or no, well, then you'll say to yourself, I need to change my cause. You see, it helps us to be clear. It helps us to be precise. Why do I stress it so much? Because the principles are precise. Now, the principles did not just come out of thin air. And they weren't man-made or quote-unquote alien-made. They aren't that. They govern all beings. I forget the scripture that says that, actually. That all beings. That's something that we miss. We think they're only talking about human beings, but it says all beings. See? All beings. So the principles, if you use them in your daily language, when you start hearing things like, oh, you got to raise your vibration. What does that even mean, to raise your vibration? People say, oh, you got to get in a better mood. You got to feel better, because that's what they equate raising to, feeling better. No, it just means, where are you? You're moving. So you're either doing the same thing you've always done, or you're doing something else, because you are moving. You cannot stand still. When you hear, oh my God, I'm so stuck in a rut. No, you're not. You are simply doing the same thing you've always done. So you're not stuck, because you can't ever be stuck, because everything has to move. Not because I say so, but because the principle says. Everything moves, nothing stands still. That's what it means to vibrate. Movement. Yes? So the next time you think to yourself, oh my God, I'm so stuck. No, you can remember, no, I'm not. Because nothing can stand still. If that means I can't stand still. So what are you doing then? Are you doing the new thing that you want to do, or are you doing the old thing you've always done? You see how buzzwords keep you, I would have to say buzzwords deafen the ear and blind the eye. Oh my God, I doubt that. No, we never doubt. You just don't believe it. You don't look in terms of opposite. The principles don't work in that fashion. Whatever it is you believe to be true is the cause of whatever effect you're dealing with. Whatever it is you believe to be true, not what you doubt, but what you believe. And sometimes we get so caught up in looking for the doubt that we don't see what we actually believe. When you say, oh my God, why do I keep getting the opposite? You can't get the opposite. The principle of correspondence tells you, as within, so without, each seed after its own kind. So you will never get the opposite because you cannot. You can't get the opposite, which will now cause you to look at your life and say, wait, what do I truly believe here? Do I truly believe that I am healthy, or am I just hoping to be healthy? You see, it causes you, when you step away from the buzzwords and the catchphrases, you now begin to see clearly in such a fashion that you can ask yourself important questions, and you'll notice it'll be without judgment. Wow, what do I mean by judgment? I mean things like, guilt and shame. Oh my God. Oh, I'm such a loser. Oh, I'm not good enough. The moment you start doing that, you say, wait, whoa. This corresponding action, do I want that effect in my life? Because this feeling I have inside now is only going to bring about an effect, a corresponding effect that matches it. Do I want that? And then what will you do? You won't try to feel better. It has nothing to do with feeling better. It has to do with changing the mentality, changing the mental attitude about what it is you hold to be true. So then when you catch yourself and say, wait a minute, why should I feel guilty? Why? Guilt does nothing for me but poison me and make me have a horrible experience. I don't want to feel guilty anymore. So what do you want instead? If you're not guilty, then you're justified, are you not? But it stops you from being disillusioned in the fact of lying to yourself, because humanity, we like to self-justify. We say, I did it because it was my right to do so. No. When you use the principles, you won't do that. I'm telling you, because you'll check yourself. You will check, oh, wait, what do I believe here? Do I believe I'm entitled to that? Do I believe I'm better than George? What do I believe here? And the moment you start questioning what you believe is when you begin to become aware of what needs to change. You'll find that you stop blaming, pointing the finger at somebody else, because you know you can't point at somebody else because there isn't anybody else. The moment we start blaming, you see, I'll give you an example. In Toronto, a major city, I think it was Toronto, or is it Brampton? I forget. But the story is, this person failed their driving exam and they beat up the driving instructor. Who do you think they're mad at? The driving instructor, actually, it wasn't the driving instructor, it was the tester, right? The tester has nothing to do with what you've learned. He's testing what you've learned from your instructor. So who is that person upset with? They're not upset with anybody else but themselves. They're angry that they failed. That's what they're angry at. And because they're busy feeling embarrassed and angry, what are they going to do? If they don't check themselves with that principle that says, wait a minute. You see this feeling right here? This is what I believe. I believe this person injured me by failing me. You're ruining my life. If I can't drive, blah, 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 blah. So you see what they've done? They, instead of holding what they have right there, they believe someone has done them wrong. Now, there are instances where you are done wrong, but still, you still have to check that. Because if you go out there and you, what's the phrase I want to use here? You retaliate. Where are you retaliating from? A place of vengeance, anger. Now, there is a way to retaliate. Look at the cause and effect. If you go out there and retaliate with vengeance, all anyone ever saw was you being vengeful. They did not see you be injured. So now you look like the bad guy. This is what catchphrases do. Oh, I'm going to take matters into my own hands. I'm a vigilante. Yeah, but look at what you're doing. You've got to catch yourself. So this is why when you use the principles don't beat you over the head. The principles don't make you feel like if you're less than. The principles always remind you, as within, so without. What are you holding within you? There's the scripture in the Bible where God was talking to Cain, I believe, after he'd killed his brother. And he said, the enemy is crouching at the door. See that part? You have a choice. We don't just walk out into the world and just act willy-nilly. You check to make sure, is this an effect I am willing to pay the price for? But you see, buzzwords just make a lot of noise, and they don't allow you to check yourself because they're vague. They're vague. Or you got to lift your mood. You don't lift your mood. You move to a different one. You move. But why would you move? Because you don't want that effect. You want a different effect. So in order for the effect, and you'll notice the effect is not in charge. The effect is the corresponding cause and effect. So when you do the cause, the effect is inevitable. And it shows you don't have to force your life to happen, because now you'll understand what it means when you say, I didn't have to lift a finger to do anything. Well, of course not, because you chose your cause. And each cause has its own effect. So the effect is not reliant upon you forcing it to happen. So we don't have to go out there and chase and to pursue. They say, you got to chase that bag. You got to pursue your destiny. You don't have to chase anything. Choose the cause. The effect unfolds naturally. Yeah, but what kind of action am I supposed to take? I can't just sit on the couch. The action is inevitable. Life is not a thing of force. It is a thing of causation, causality. You do this, that happens. Which does what to you mentally? When you recognize that every cause has its effect and every effect its cause, well, then you will recognize, and you'll start paying attention to your opportunities that present themselves. So you see, buzzwords, just, if you know any, pop them in the chat. Yes, you are the first to comment, dearest, but he's not here. But when you hear of catchphrases, buzzwords, to each his own, to each his own, to each his own, as within, so without. This is what it is. That's why each and own go in the same sentence. I find that the principles bring clarity. That's why I say you practice them. Mentalism. The all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. And I notice sometimes we use mind interchangeably with brain, and that is not the case. Our brains are organs, but the mind is the thing that is aware that the brain is there. The mind is the thing that is aware. That is mind, not brain. And so people say, oh, you're always in your mind. You got to get into your heart. You're always in your heart. We don't ever live from anywhere else. You see, because we are always thinking. The brain, that's its job, is to think. And your quote unquote awareness. So every time you say the word I am, you are acknowledging you are aware of what you are. Oh my God, I'm so tired. Oh my God, I'm so bored. You see, the moment you say I am aware of being tired. I am aware of being bored. We want to separate that awareness from the body, and you cannot. The body is the effect. So you can't separate cause from effect. Your body is the effect of you being in it. Without you in it, the body cannot be. So you're all spirit, you're all heart. But in order for me to see you, you require a body. You see something that doesn't have form and shape, and you go running out of your house. Ah! You need the body. So you cannot deny the existence of the body. But what can you do instead if you apply the principles? You recognize that you become aware of your body. There's a modality, a health modality called body talk. Right? Body talk. What's that even mean? It means, are you aware of what your body is saying? It's not deaf, dumb, blind, or mute, your body. It must listen. When you use your eyes, the brain interprets the information, cause and effect. Right? Cause and effect. What you are seeing is the effect of what you have been taught. Because you see the color blue. You see the ball. We learned those words. See, we learned those words. So we use those words. So whatever it is we're going through in life, we have learned it. It was taught to us, good, bad, or indifferent. It was taught to us. When you say things like, oh, I got to heal my inner child. What? Be precise as the principles. What does healing your inner child really, truly mean when you look at it through the terms of principle? What principles? Mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, causation, and gender. Your inner child are a series of beliefs that you learned as a child. So here we are running around trying to, oh my God, how do I heal my inner child? What do you presently believe? Not what are you doubting. I think that word should be banished, but that's just my personal opinion about doubt. Because we only ever believe. It seems weird to say that. But why would you disagree with me? Because you believe something else. You don't doubt what I'm saying. You hold a belief. So if we start looking at things by way of correspondence, as within, so without. Well, I believe this. I believe that. So if you believe it, well then, you're going to live according to what you believe. So how do you change your belief? That's another catchphrase. You got to change your beliefs. You got to unlearn. Unlearning is called Alzheimer's. That's what it's called, unlearning. Why? Because you're erasing everything from the brain that you've learned. So we're not erasing things. You're learning something new. You're taking on something new. So what is it that you would like to learn? This is how new beliefs are formed. You learn something different, but you don't just learn it. You experience. You experience, because then that's what makes it true to you, because of your experience. This is why for the person who has experienced something, they're not talking from hearsay. They're speaking to you from what happened to them. They were there and they experienced it. So when When we stop listening to buzzwords and catchphrases, there's a reason why buzzwords and catchphrases exist. To catch the attention, to hold the attention, and because it is short, it is a command. To what though? When you want someone to do something, you give a command. A command is never do not. A command is always usually a phrase, just a short phrase. Run. Silence. Stop talking. Silence. It's a command. Buzzwords and catchphrases are exactly the same thing because they're so short and to the point, you remember them right away. And because you remember them right away, there's an association with that buzzword or catchphrase. But what does that buzzword and catchphrase do if you do not examine it? This is the key that I'm trying to convey this beautiful day. That word trying is such a nuisance, but it's become so embedded in our vocabulary. But as long as we catch ourselves when we say it, that's why Yoda says, do or do not. There is no try. See how quick and easy that is to remember? Do or do not. Do or do not. So he's telling you, you don't try to do something, you do it or you don't do it. You see how clear that is? There's no vagueness in do or do not. But when you say, oh, I'll try, what do you mean you'll try? See how vague it is? It's actually quite agitating to hear. Oh, I'll try. Oh, I'm famous for saying that. Oh, I'll try. It either means you're going to do it or you're not going to do it. So you see, when you hear, because I'm sure you'll come across some buzzwords and catchphrases today, examine yourself. Examine yourself. What do I mean by examine yourself? What is it that you believe? When that catchphrase comes up, what is it that you believe? What is it that you hold to be true? You see, we keep thinking that it has to do with somebody outside of you. No, it is all about you. You. And we would say, oh my God, but that is so selfish. Listen, if you don't check you, who's going to? If you don't check you, like my son was vacuuming the other day and I was just sitting there watching him vacuum, but I wasn't. He's just in my peripheral. And I looked at the floor and I was like, dude, that's a really good job. And he goes, am I doing it right? I said to him, is the floor clean as you vacuum? Do you hear what's going up into the vacuum? Can you see what the carpet now looks like when you pass over it? Can you see where you've missed? I said, that is how you determine if you have done a good job or not. Not if I tell you. I said, if I do it, I'll do it according to my own preference, but based upon that criteria. So you have to do it based upon your own criteria. When you wash the floors, it's the same thing. Is it cleaner than when you started? What did you notice? That is how you know and train yourself to see, what am I doing? Oh, I know how my mother would do it. But do you know why your mother does it that way? Do you know why I would vacuum in the way that I vacuum? Because I'm looking to see, did I miss any spots? You don't just go ahead and do something because someone said do it in this fashion. No, you've got to examine, what are you doing? How are you doing it? Does it match the outcome you want? That is what it means to examine yourself. Why am I doing this? Am I doing this because? We hear the catchphrase, people pleaser. What's that mean? Are you a court jester? You run around with the little bells on your shoes and the bells on your hat and you make everybody laugh? You're a people pleaser? No, it means there's a belief that you have If I do not do what they want, they will leave me. So I will do what it takes to please them, to make them stay. Honesty with self. The principles just encourage honesty with self. So that when you hear you have to know yourself, you'll understand what that means. Honesty with yourself. Because you will know that, okay, look, what's his name? Earl Nightingale, when he described what success meant. It's the attainment of a worthy ideal. But who can determine what is worthy to you? If you say it is my desire to get up and bake and do this, this, and this, and I get up and I did it and I followed through, then I was successful. But we look out into the world for them to tell us what success is. Nothing will blind you faster than that, because you're trying to live your life in the blueprint of somebody else. So catchphrases, they're cute and they have a purpose. Do they serve the purpose in your life based upon who you say you are? If I don't like the color of your dress or the color of your suit, that's my problem. Mine. It is your taste. You dress according to taste. Yours. Now, I saw this video the other day. This man was talking about bras and underwires in your bras and how they press the lymphatic system and they can create whatever it is. And I said, well, yeah, he's got a point. But at the same time, you let a woman leave the house without a bra on. Somebody's going to come for you. Oh, don't you have any decency? How inappropriate. Walking around and they dragging on the floor, or they up under your chin and jiggling all over the place. Somebody has something to say. So when I just told you dress according to taste, now we have to consider, where are we going? What are we doing? Why? Well, you're not on this planet alone. You're not. You're not on this planet alone. How are you perceived? Well, that depends. What does it depend on? As within, so without. You see, the principles will always bring you back to yourself, and it will show you how not to be self-conscious about something. Oh, indeed. How not to be self-conscious about something. Self-conscious, what's that mean? Another catchphrase buzzword. You are conscious of yourself. Self-conscious. You are aware of yourself. Self-conscious, that's what it means. But we use self-conscious in the term of, oh my God, are they gonna laugh at me? Is my shirt too low? Should I cover up more? How will I be perceived if my shirt is too low? Well, that depends. What is your intention when you put it on? Honesty with self is a good thing. What is your intent when you put it on? That's the question. Do you want to draw the eye? This is how we live our lives. The moment you feel a particular way, you will act according to it. Some people pride modesty. Others frown upon it. But it all has to do with the intent of the person doing it. So you see, all I'm simply trying to convey to you today, buzzwords and catchphrases blind the eye, deafen the ear, because they're not clear, they're vague. But the principles always are clear. What are you aware of right now? What are you doing right now? Do you want to do that? So if you continue doing that, what do you think the outcome would be? See? It's a straightforward question. If you keep doing that, what do you think the outcome will be? So now you get to think about this. You get to analyze it. What am I doing? Am I afraid here? This is the whole point today with buzzwords and catchphrases. They're marketing 101. Always with the intent to sell you something. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to tell you, check yourself. If a buzzword or catchphrase can just whip you up like that and whisk you away, what are you anchored to? Because then you're now at the mercy of every catchphrase or buzzword that you hear. You are not designed to be at the mercy of anything or anyone. You're designed to know yourself. To know yourself? Yes. What are you aware of being right now? And do you like it? Nobody has to tell you that if you walk down the street and smack somebody up against the head, that that's a good idea or a bad idea. You already know. How do you know? Well, some things are hardwired into you. You just come knowing them. You just do. You truly examine yourself and you'll see. Remember what examine means. To take a look at yourself. How? What mood are you in? You see, sometimes we want to suppress what we feel. No, that's the worst thing you can ever do. Suppress? Trust me, I know all about suppression. You don't suppress it. Look at it. It is you. And when you look at it, you can do something from there. You say, you know what? I don't think I want to be in this frame of mind anymore. See? What frame of mind are you in? There's another buzzword. What frame? We talked about this last night. What frame of mind are you in? Frame of mind. Meaning, what image are you seeing in your mind? You're holding something there. And usually that quote unquote frame of mind, it means what attitude are you feeling about this thing? Right? Ooh, reacher. Some things are taught, some things are caught, and some things are God-given. Well, hallelujah to that. A beautiful phrase. You see? Some things are taught, some things are caught, and some things are God-given. Short, sweet, and you'll remember it, won't you? Now you get to filter, because that's very clear and precise, not vague at all. Because some things are taught, and some things you pick it up from somebody else, so you caught it from somebody else. And other things, well, God gave that to you. Full awareness of self. So on this glorious Tuesday, I'm not going to keep you because I got to go. I'm already overtime because, yakety yakking. But I want you to ponder it today when you hear the bowl. I don't know if you'll get Bird's song. I left him, he was asleep. But as you hear the bowl this morning, be bold and courageous to examine yourself. Do you like this? You see, we think examine yourself means, do I look good in this outfit? Are my lashes on point? Are my edges laid? Shoot, I don't even know what edges are, but it's all right. I don't know. But the thing to check is, what's my attitude? What is my attitude? What is my attitude? Oh, what is your attitude? Check it. What do I mean by check it? Check yourself before you wreck yourself. So what's that mean? Yeah, it's that song, but it's a catchphrase. Check your mental attitude. Check your mental frame of mind. Is it where you want to be? Because as within, so without. That frame of mind that you're in brings about your experience. Not because I say so, but because every cause has its effect and every effect its cause. So if you walk out like a snapper fish and you're mad at everybody, and you're not mad at anybody, you're mad at you. You're mad at the whole world. How do you think the experience will go? You're going to encounter cranky people. So today, when you hear the bowl, check your attitude, taste it, feel it, mull it over. Is it what you want? Well, then, if it isn't, get a new attitude. And the more you practice your new attitude, it will become the old way. Because the more you do something, the better you get at it. And it's not new anymore, is it? It's like breaking in a pair of shoes. So that's how come you practice that new attitude until it becomes your favorite pair of shoes. And that is all we ever do. Change the mood or the attitude or the state or frame of mind. And because that's the cause, well, then you will bring about the effect. Anyhow, let me get the bowl, because it's about that time. And wait, but before we get the bowl, let's say hello to everyone. Sorry, I'm so rude. Hey, Hilarion. It's good to see you here on Twitter. Hey. YouTube and Facebook, the better man. Hey, Jeff, that is right. There is no try. You either do it or you do not do it. Miss Deborah, hey, Reacher, Miss McQueen, Big Mike, lovely Miss Fawn, Oracle Treehouse, honey. I see you all. Thank you all for being here. Let's get the bowl out. Let's get the bowl. Da, da, da. countdown initiated. Hello, Danny. You have a question? Hello, Danny.
This is strange, but anyway, I'm here. Hello.
Hello, Danny. You caught us on the tail end. I was just about to do the countdown.
Oh, well, I just got to say this one thing. So, I'm a believer in the Most High, and I think you are too, right?
Indeed.
Okay. So, I've been having some issues. You know that the insignia, my insignia there is called Chaos.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if you're I cheat. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but anyway, I took that picture from my psychologist's wall, and I identified with the picture more than I did its meaning. But this morning I woke up and I've been in a little bit of a turmoil about some things, and I said to myself, I said, I know this is just chaos, and God created, and your name is Allah's creation, right? God created everything from chaos, right? The earth was chaos, and He ordered it. Would you agree with that?
I'm listening to you. So you just speak, because I do have to go, but I'm willing to listen. Go ahead.
Oh, and so anyway, that's what's going through my head, and then I see your space here and your laws of creation, and I'm putting together all of these things because I look when I wake up, I pray. If I got this thing going on, I talk to God, and then I follow the little trail, like the little crumbs that He leaves or indications or whatever you want to call it. I follow it. So here am I. I'll listen.
No, I get what you're saying, and I know that this is actually a perfect question. I'll try and be as brief as I can be, or else I'll be late for work. But that also now can tend to be a catchphrase. Everything came out of chaos. Chaos is just a word that we've learned, and this is, I'll say it this way. The reason I say it's a word we've learned is because when you look at the principles are very precise. There's no chaos in the principle. So that means the thinker of the principle was not chaotic, which means mentalism. The all is mind, the universe is mental. Correspondence, as within, so without. As above, so below. Because everything vibrates, it moves, it cannot stand still. And it is always moving between two poles. What are those two poles for polarity? Where you are and where you're going. So only one thing is moving. And it moves in a rhythmic fashion every single time. It has a pattern in the way that it moves, which causes an effect. Every cause has its effect, and every effect its cause. Why? The law of gender. Masculine, it is the idea generated and projected outward. But where? Because as within, so without. So where's the outside? The outside then would have to be the part we cannot see, the womb, so to speak, that receives that thought and gives it form. So if I look at those things as evidence instead of speculating, there is no chaos in them. They're absolute order, right? I don't see any chaos. But because humanity can speak, we have these words that we say. So what happens is chaos, and you mentioned the word turmoil, right? If that symbol represents chaos and you have it there, I know it's a pretty symbol. I know it is. But it means something. And so for you, it means something to you. So that word chaos, I can't speculate. I can only use the principles to show you Those principles don't have any chaos in them. So if there's no chaos in the principles and everything is ordered by principle, or everything follows principle, because you use the word ordered as well, right? So if everything follows principle, there's nothing outside of principle. So there's nothing else but principle, and the principle is God, because that's where they come from, right? Does that make sense?
100%. Thank you so much. Well put. I think you've got experience in this. I'm glad I landed here. Thank you for taking time with me. I appreciate it. And I posted the thing that I understood about chaos that I found about the logo that I'm using, and it fits. It fits. Although divination, I don't go for that, but it's an old Chinese, and that's as old as Torah.
No, Danny, it was a pleasure speaking with you this morning. And so, because there aren't any coincidences, not a single one. Every cause has its effect, and every effect its cause. You were looking for something this morning, and you were scrolling through Twitter, and there you were. Cause, you were looking, you found. So cause and effect, you see? So one of these days we're going to touch on divination, because divination, again, it's, look at it, it's divination, looking for the divine. See, what happens to us when we look for the divine on the outside of the self, then we have to start doing things. The divine is never going to be outside of you, because it is the divine that is your very existence. Anyway, I'm a land there. You can always slide into my DMs, Danny, but we're always here every Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because what's the lecture for tonight from Neville Goddard? I do not remember what it is. I don't remember, but we're here, 10 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. So I look forward to seeing you again if you want to join us. You know, we fall asleep in the state of the wish fulfilled. I try my best to read it as a bedtime story to soothe, you know, but sometimes I do get a little carried away. Anywho, I love you all. Countdown initiated. Wait, did I say hi to fan base? Of course, yes, I did. I'm sure I did. Well, if not, hey, afternoon delight is in the house. Hey, moon. Yes, I remember saying Miss Deborah, Reacher, Miss McQueen, Miss Fawn, Oracle Tree House. I see you all. So, countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Much love to each and every one of you.